This is not the rower I'll be reviewing today, but if you're anything like me, you're looking to upgrade from a cheaper machine you bought when you weren't sure if rowing was for you, to something a little more special. An upgrade that may have been unduly hastened by the demise of what you had before. Today we'll be looking at the unboxing, build and review of the VR2 Valor water rowing machine from Pure Design Fitness. We'll examine the finish, quality and feel of the Valor to decide if it's worth the upgrade over cheaper magnetic resistance machines for the home user. The VR2 sits in the middle of the Pure Design range. Made in the USA, it's sold for between $800 and $1,500. Depending on your region and your currency. It is constructed of a powder-coated steel frame with beechwood rails and features a programmable onboard computer. The VR2 sits as direct competitor in design, quality and aesthetic to the WaterRower brand Natural and Oxbridge machines. Some of the supplied components, such as the computer, are identical to what you'd find on the WaterRower products. The packaging is of good quality and the rower was easy to unbox. The most demanding part is lifting the tank and frame out of the box. However, with some forward thinking, this is achievable. Construction is straightforward and there are only 8 bolts that require manipulation. A hex key is supplied to allow for tightening. Let's now go over the construction of the machine in a bit more detail, step by step. I found the instruction manual to be easy to read and written well, as to be expected with an American-made machine. The quality of the components immediately seemed to be of a very high standard. The rails have recessed inserts on the inside. You can't see them, but they help them to slide into the cylindrical parts of the frame here, and then secure with the bolts. You can't really lie the machine on its side because of the tank, so you do need to do one side at a time when it comes to the rails and just insert them. Get them finger tight first and then tighten all of them with the hex key. The next step is to place the seat on the rails. Now, because you haven't secured the rear end of the rails together, they'll flex enough to allow you to insert the seat and then lock the rails together with the next piece. The wheels on the seat have guides underneath them which stop the seat from coming off the rails. This cross-locking piece at the rear will work either way up. Simply choose which wood grain is more appealing to you and have that facing up. You can see I'm using my hand here to just guide the threaded inserts to allow me to get the locking nuts on easily without cross-threading. I've done the other side off camera. Once again, tighten with the Allen key. And check the seat for movement. The construction now is pretty well complete. Just on that seat, Make sure it's pointing the right way. There is a right and wrong way. Next, you want to adjust your heel position. You can do this by moving these toggled footrests as shown. You want the balls of your feet to ride on the waves, the wavy lines in the plastic. The oar is secured by a rubber band, which you can then remove. There's also a locking position closer to the computer you can place it in, so it's easier to reach. Now it's time to fill the tank. They supply a siphon pump for you to use. First remove the stopper, then find yourself a bucket filled with clean water. It's simply then a matter of filling up the tank. You might have a bit of trouble with this. I had to keep pumping quite a few times, despite the fact that the intake of the bucket was above where the outlet was in the tank. You only fill to the maximum line or there below. I went about halfway, as it's easier to add more than it would be to take some out. The assembly process was simple and achievable for almost anyone. Add the water purification tablet, which strangely a WaterRower branded tablet. Not sure of the relationship between these two companies. Somebody can let me know whether there's cross ownership or whether they just Pure Design just finds it easy to get the WaterRower branded tablets. The stopper goes back on, and then it's time to try it for the first time. You may notice immediately I'm rowing barefoot, but the reality is the plastic footrests make this uncomfortable after a while. A transition to socks fixes this problem, and of course those of you doing it properly in shoes will have no issues at all. Because the footrests capture your heels, they also help to train good form. After a few days of using the machine, I'm happy to say there are no issues. The machine is performing very smoothly, there are no leaks, and the computer is functioning well. The sensation of the WaterRower is certainly different from that of a magnetic one, but it is also pleasant, as is the sound of the rushing water. Failing any longer-term quality issues, which after the build I do not foresee, I would have no problems recommending this rowing machine for use in the home environment. Storing the machine does take some confidence, as the weight is upwards of 40 kilograms with over 2 meters of length. However, the wheels and resting pads make the process achievable with, once again, some forward planning. The machine still rolled, even on my high pile carpet. Well, that's all for today's review. I hope you enjoyed it. Any questions? Set them in the comments. Thank you.